Hello, Dr. Peterson, Contraband here. So in watching your videos on YouTube, I watched one lecture where you were at Lafayette University, and one of the few black audience members asked you about systemic racism. He wanted to know whether you believe it was just another leftist ploy or whether you believe that it was something that is real and a problem that needed to be dealt with. It really gave you an opportunity to have a really important discussion, a discussion that's going to continue to be important in the 21st century about systemic racism. So let's watch and see how you answer this question.
It's a multivariate problem, right? Like no society is without its biases and prejudices. And some of them get built into the systems themselves. And so when you look at unequal outcomes and you're trying to discover why those unequal outcomes exist, if you have any sense, then you do a multivariate analysis and you put in prejudice and discrimination as one of the factors. One of the factors. One of many, many factors. And what the problem with the radical leftists is that they take the fact that societal structures are tyrannical to some degree and arbitrary, which of course they are because they're imperfect, and then they obliterate the rest of the complexity with that claim. So there's lots of reasons for inequality. Systemic bias is one of them. It's an open question to what degree systemic bias plays in the inequality problem, let's say. But it's something that we could hypothetically address with a certain degree of detachment and intelligence.
Consider this. When does racism reveal itself? The answer is when someone who holds racist thoughts, that is, that one race is superior than the other, reveals those thoughts to the public. While some do this accidentally.
And a lot of King's statements were sort of like this, where you could interpret them one of two ways. Well, the problem is that now he's making statements that are not interpretable one of two ways. They are only interpretable as racism.
Others do it quite openly.
Nigga, 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 fuck you, nigga, 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 nigga.
Of course, people with racist thoughts often keep those thoughts to themselves, for many reasons, but mostly to avoid critically engaging with anyone about those thoughts. Why? Because racism is based on pure fantasy. Often, the only way to uncover racist thoughts is to connect them to an action with a racist motive. This is extremely difficult for most white people because the telltale signs of oppression are as foreign to most white people as quantum physics is to the layperson. Further, these signs can't always directly lead to a conclusion that a racist motive was present. And it's impossible to do if you're black because either the person you're trying to convince is a racist, or they don't want to believe that black people experience consistent racism for a variety of reasons, or they simply don't care. Further, there are inherent biases in the observations of black people as members of the oppressed class. These biases are indistinguishable from the specialized knowledge that we've gained through our unique perspective. Despite these barriers, I have absolute confidence that they can be overcome, and that the lines of communication between the races can be cleared in this new technological world. Come have a chat with me. I'll show you how we can have the reasonable, intelligent discussion that you mentioned in your video, and we can be a role model for others to have the same conversation around the nation. You can contact me via my email, my Twitter, or my Facebook. And as usual, if I don't hear from you, then I'll see you next week with another video. This is Contraband. Thanks for watching.